Have you ever talked to a veteran who got medically boarded and they describe it like waking up in someone else's life? Like one day they knew exactly who they were, what they were doing at 0600, what next year looked like, what their 20-year retirement ceremony was going to feel like. And the next day, all of it just vanished. The calendar's empty, the uniform's in a closet, and the version of them that existed before that paper got signed is just gone. And nobody told them how to be the new guy. Maybe that's you. Maybe you spent 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years building yourself into a soldier, a Marine, an airman, a sailor, Coast Guardsman. You knew exactly who you were, and then one morning a doctor signs a piece of paper, and just like that, you're done. Not because your contract ended, not because you wanted out, but because your body or your mind changed in a way that the military decided it couldn't work around. That's medical boarding. And what nobody really talks about is what happens to your head in the months and years after. If that's you, if you've been feeling lost, angry, numb, anxious, first thing I want you to hear is this. That's not weakness, and it's not just in your head. The research on this is actually pretty clear. What you're going through has a name, it has a shape, and there are real things that work. And this topic is important to all veterans, whether or not you were medically boarded, because we need to support each other. If we haven't met, I'm Dr. Prashant Sharma, psychiatrist, former Air Force flight surgeon, and I've spent years helping veterans understand what's actually happening in their brains. By the way, I was inspired to do a video on this topic by Raider HQ. We discussed this topic briefly during our Memorial Day Roundtable livestream with a bunch of veteran creators, and Raider mentioned how this is something we really need to focus on in the veteran community. And I agree. I'll link his channel in the description. Thank you, Raider, for the inspiration. So here's what I want to do today. First, I want to walk you through what the research actually says happens to people in this situation, because I think it'll feel like somebody's finally describing your experience back to you instead of telling you to just adapt. And second, more importantly, I want to talk about what you can do about it. Not what the military should have done, because we can't go back in time, not what some VA program might one day do, but what you, sitting where you are right now, can actually go do this week. All right, so there's a study from 2024. They did something pretty simple. They sat down with service members going through the MedBoard process and asked them how they were doing. 68% reported emotional distress when they got that unfit for duty notice. 64% were feeling depressed during the transition. Over half were specifically grieving the fact that they wouldn't get to serve until retirement. The career they'd promised themselves was over. And here's the number that should stop you in your tracks. 44% reported suicidal thoughts during the process. Not after, but during, while they were still in. 44%, that's almost half. And you have to consider that some folks might have been minimizing, so that number might actually be higher. And the way they described it, and this is from the study, was emotionally crushing. It was being forced out. It was going from being in the infantry to sitting in an office. The identity disruption was so total that one participant said the military was the only thing I had ever known. Now, there's a separate piece of research, came out in 2025, looked at 313 veterans and basically named what's happening here. They called it discharge as a loss of self. Their argument is that the military isn't like a regular job. It's what they call an identity-centric workplace. The enculturation is so deep, the bonds are so much like family, that getting separated from it isn't like losing employment. It's more like getting cut out of a tribe. And this loss of identity occurs even if you leave by your own decision. So it's magnified if you're medically boarded. And the worst part isn't even the leaving, it's the feeling that the institution you sweat and or bled for, the one that asked you to embody all these values, just doesn't want you anymore. That's the feeling. That's not in your head either. The researchers called it institutional betrayal. And before you tell yourself, okay, well, I'll just get over it, there's data on that too. A big VA study of over 400,000 post 9/11 veterans found that the guys who got non-routine discharges, so disability, disqualification, had way higher odds of getting diagnosed with anxiety, depression, even other disorders like psychotic disorders in the years after. Not because they were weaker, but because the discharge itself was a psychological event with consequences. It changed their whole trajectory in life. So if you've been beating yourself up thinking you should be over this by now, that other guys handle it better. No, they don't. The data says that they don't. You're not behind. You're just being honest about what actually happened. After all, it's a loss of identity. And it's such a change in your trajectory in life, like I said before. 1 minute, your life is headed in this direction, and then it's not. Your entire life plan, your goals, your vision for the future has to change. You're forced to. There is no other option. And that's tough to handle for anyone, no matter who you are. It's demoralizing. It affects self-esteem. How you look at yourself as a person, it affects everything. Okay, so that's the diagnosis. Now let's talk about what you can actually do about it. And I want to be really clear here. I'm not talking about what the system should have caught earlier. I'm talking about you today, already boarded, already out, sitting on the couch wondering how to feel like yourself again. By the way, these strategies can be used if you've experienced a loss of identity, even if you left the military by your own decision. So, 4 things, and honestly, they all kind of work together. First, and this is the foundation, you have to stop trying to either erase your military identity or stay frozen in it. There's a clinical model out of a 2020 case study that's basically built around this. The idea is you're not just a vet and you're not just a civilian. You're someone who was a service member, and the values you got from that, discipline, leadership, focus on the mission, looking out for the guy next to you, those don't expire when you're DD-214 Prince. The work is integrating them into a new identity, a hybrid identity. Not pretending the military didn't happen, not pretending it's still happening, but building the next version of you on top of the foundation it already gave you. Second, peer support. And I don't mean a clinical group with a checklist, although that's good too. I mean other veterans. The VA's been running something called the Veteran Sponsorship Initiative. And a study just came out comparing 551 matched pairs, guys who got assigned a peer sponsor versus guys who didn't. The ones with sponsors had measurably fewer suicide attempts at 10 months out. There's also a really cool thing called Veteran Coffee Socials happening in a bunch of communities. Certified peer specialists running open groups in local coffee shops. Over 2,000 engagements in 9 months. That's not therapy exactly, that's coffee and a familiar face. And it works, because the loneliness is the thing eating you, and another vet across the table might be the antidote. Third, and this one surprises people sometimes, go volunteer. There's a 2017 study of 346 post-9/11 veterans who did a structured civic service program, 20 hours a week for 6 months. PTSD symptoms dropped, depression dropped, sense of purpose came back, social isolation dropped, and here's the kicker. The guys who were most depressed at the start improved the most. The mechanism isn't complicated. The military taught you that your life means something when it's in service of something bigger. Medical boarding didn't take that wiring out of you. It just unplugged it. Volunteering plugs it back in. And fourth, and this is the one I really want you to hear, there's a framework called logotherapy. I've talked about this before on the channel. Comes from Dr. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps and built a whole school of psychiatry around the idea that meaning isn't something you find lying around. It's something you choose. There's a newer group therapy approach built on this idea called the real journey, designed specifically for veterans dealing with loss and moral pain. And it asks one core question. What does this experience get to mean in your life going forward? What are you going to determine it means? Because here's the thing, the medical board took something from you. It's a real loss, no minimizing that. But it does not get to decide what that loss means. You get to decide. Some guys decide it means that they were broken. I'm not blaming them, I'm just saying what happens. Other folks might decide that it means they're now the one with time to mentor the next generation, or build a business, or seek a new career field, or be present for their kids in a way that deployments never let them be. So it's the same event, but it has a wildly different meaning. And the meaning is the part that determines how the rest of your life goes. So if you're sitting there thinking, all right, fine, doc, but where do I actually start? Pick one, just one. Reach out to one other veteran this week, or sign up to volunteer somewhere, or find a therapist who actually gets the military piece. Don't try to do all four at once. One small move forward beats a big plan that you never start. And look, I don't pretend that any of this is easy. I'm not the one who lived it, you are. But The veterans I've watched come out on the other side of this didn't do it by waiting for the feelings to fade. They did it by rebuilding on purpose, brick by brick, in the directions they chose. If this hit home for you, do me a favor, drop a comment below and let me know which part landed. And if you know another veteran who's been boarded and might need to hear this, send it to him or her. Could matter more than you think. I'll keep making videos about the parts of the veteran experience that don't get talked about enough. If this one mattered to you, subscribe so the next one finds you as well. As always, thanks for watching. Dr. Sharma signing off. See you next time.